What's up, YouTube? Swiftly here, back with another YouTube video. And as you can see on your screen, today's video, we have another Tiermaker video for you guys. And today's video, we are going to be ranking the super massive horror games. I don't know if we could say series, collection, because it's not really a series, because it's not, well, I guess technically speaking, it is a series, right? Because series don't have to be directly related to each other, right? So, yeah, I guess we could say series. Now, if you don't know Supermassive Games, they make these horror, butterfly effect tier, cinematic, narrative-driven games. Here's a group of them here. I think starting with Until Dawn, then they had the Dark Pictures Anthology Volume 1. Then they had some other games come out, and then now they are starting, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Volume 2, which they're gonna have a game come out pretty soon. I think Directive 8020 or Derivative 8020. It's one or the other. I'm not 100% sure, but I know it's something 8020, and it's like gonna be like a horror game in space. So I figure what better time to rank all of these games than now with them about to start, the second volume, if you will. So that being said, I'm going to start off with some of the games that I haven't played, and then some of the games I played somewhat but haven't finished, and then we'll work our way into everything else. So starting off, we have Switchback VR, which I don't play VR, don't have VR, so never got around to ever playing this. If I ever, dabble, which I do kind of want to, stick my foot into VR, because I've seen a lot of people, say VR is fun. I might dabble with it. Like, I know a lot of people complain about, motion sickness and stuff like that, but I don't get motion sickness at all. Like, I don't get motion sickness. I don't get, like, seasick or car sick or anything like that. So I think I'll be straight with messing around with VR. But for horror games, I'm definitely all over that. Like, I love horror games. I love horror movies, horror shows. I like being, scared and stuff like that. So I could definitely see myself, definitely trying to jump into that. Another game I'm going to put and I haven't played. I did play some of it, but like, and people are probably going to kill me for saying this, but I played some of The Casting of Frank Stone. I'm putting it in haven't played. I played like the first hour and a half, but I played it on, I want to say I played it on PS5. Yeah, I played it on PS5, and the performance is just so bad, man. Like, the performance is just, I don't know if it's just me, maybe I need to like reboot my PS5 and like, like clear the cache and just, restart it and do all of that stuff, clean it up and stuff like that. I don't know if it was just my PS5 or what. All my other games run perfectly fine, but like The Casting of Frank Stone, it ran like absolute dog water on the PS5. And I played the PS5 version. I'm not even sure if there is a PS4 version. If there is, okay, then cool. But I definitely played it on the PS5 and the PS5 version, and it just ran terrible, bro, to the point where I just could not play it. Like, it would like really stutter, it would like lag or hang a lot, and I just ended up stopped playing it. I played it for about an hour and a half, and I was just like, okay, yeah, I just gotta play something else. Like, it's, maybe I'll give it another go at some point, but yeah, I never finished this, never really even got into the game, I guess you can say. I was really looking forward to playing it, especially since I've seen a lot of people say it's like a collab or like a mixture of like Supermassive games and like, their Dark Picture type of games mixed with like Dead by Daylight, which seemed like a very interesting thing. But yeah, bro, I just could not carry that on. And then finally we have the QUARRY. Now I started this, I want to say I started this back when I don't know if it was on PlayStation Now or if PlayStation had already started their whole PlayStation Extras premium tier thing. But I did play QUARRY way back when it was available on PlayStation, one of the subscription services. And I started it and I kept telling myself, yo, I'm going to come back and play this. I'm going to come back and play this. And then before I knew it, they had removed it from the service. So I never got a chance to finish playing it. But I did start out and did like the little prologue, like the little intro thing that like most of these games have, like a little intro thing introducing the game, and then you get in with like the actual real characters of the game. Like I was able to do like the prologue part, but I never got into like really getting into the game, which I kind of regret. I have it in my wish list. I constantly look to see. I know it's always on sale, but for some reason, like, this shit is still full price even, like, years later. It's like, they still want, like, 60, 70 bones for it. And I'm just like, dog, I just can't, bro. I just don't see myself doing it. When it's on sale, I might get it. The only reason why I've been holding off is because I'm convinced that it will eventually come back to one of the subscription services. So that's the only reason why I kind of have held off on buying it. But if I see a sale that I like, I'll probably end up buying it, because this is like really one of the only games that I still have yet to play from them that I really wanted to play. Like I said, I played Casting of Frank Stone, and that just, like, I don't know, maybe if they patch that or update that or something, like, I might get that another go. But as of right now, like, the you know, performance of it, it was just, I just couldn't, man. But yeah, QUARRY, I'm gonna put in haven't played, even though both of these games, like I said, I played like the first like hour or two of these games. I'm not gonna really give them a fair ranking, because I haven't really experienced the game or the story, so I don't really want to put them in anything but haven't played. I think that's fair. We're gonna start off with a game that I've started and went back to multiple times, and that's gonna be Until Dawn. Now, Until Dawn, I finally finished and played this game in full earlier this year. I think I beat this game in like, I want to say February, either February or... Actually, I might have beaten this game in January, actually. I don't know. I just know I beat this game earlier this year, either January or February, after putting this off for so many years. To tell you how many years I put this off, man, I had a physical version of this game on PS4. I bought that copy, sold that copy. I then bought the PS4 version digitally on PS4 when I still had a PS4. I started the game probably over 100 times, probably, and then still didn't play it until Dawn. Funnily enough, ironic, right? Until Dawn came to PlayStation Extra on the PlayStation subscription service, and then I finally got around to beating it earlier this year. I beat the remastered version, but I did say I'm gonna probably go back and play the OG, because I know people said like the OG is way different from the remastered version. Like, I've heard people say like the music, for example, is better, like the sound is better. Some of like the collectibles are a little bit in different places compared to the remastered version and the OG version. I know the way that you look at the collectibles, like the little totem poles or whatever, is much different. Like, because in the remastered version, you gotta like find the crack, whereas like, and that sounds crazy, pause, like you gotta find a little split or whatever. But in the OG version, I think you just look, like, turn it, and it just automatically gives you the collectible. You don't have to like play like a little mini game or whatever to get it or see it. But I do know people said that there's definitely some differences between the OG version and the remastered version. I played the remastered version, but I am going to go back and play the OG version since I own, like, physically, well, not physically, but I, you know, bought and purchased the OG version. So I'll be able to play that whenever I want. It's actually on my account, and it's not, you know, tied to a subscription or anything like that. Until Dawn, it's one of those games, like I said, I started this game like 100 different times. I would pick it up, play like the first hour, prologue, whatever. Then I would put it down. Then I would like go play other things. And then I would come back like months later or a year later like, oh, I should play Until Dawn. I should actually play it. All right, I don't remember where I left off. Let me restart it. I would restart it, play the prologue first hour or so. and then I will put it down again, and then I'm like, I'm gonna play something else, and then months later, yo, I should play Until Dawn again, and I've did that ad nauseum. I don't know how many times with Until Dawn. If I was to make a Mount Rushmore list of games that I've done that with, I would say Until Dawn is probably number one. Death Stranding would be number two. Persona 5 would be number 3, and then Resident Evil 7 would be number 4, and then number 5, I know Mount Rushmore is 4, but 5 would definitely be Cyberpunk. Those 5 games I've restarted I don't know how many times. And funnily enough, I beat all of those. Like, I beat Persona 5, Platinum beat it like 3 times last year. Cyberpunk I beat and plat earlier this year. Until Dawn I beat. The only game I haven't, and Death Stranding as well, last year I beat. The only game I haven't played or finished out of those is RE7. But yeah, Until Dawn started this like so many times, and it was nice to finally sit down and play this all the way through and beat it. I enjoyed it. Now, when we look at these rankings and we see masterpiece, we see very good, okay, this is not just in general gaming. This is within the Supermassive games. We're saying it's a masterpiece. We're not saying this is just like these games are masterpieces like in gaming in general. This is just for strictly Supermassive games. I just want to point that out. I don't want people to think that I think any of these games are masterpieces. While I do enjoy them, in my opinion, I wouldn't consider any of these games masterpieces. Like, but they are really good games and really fun, stories and whatnot. I just want to, put that out there before anybody be like, oh, you think this is, I don't want people to, kill me for saying that this or that is a masterpiece. Now, that being said, when it comes to the Supermassive games, Until Dawn is definitely going to masterpiece, bro. Like, this game, the twist, unfortunately, was already spoiled for me. I got spoiled by this game years ago. Like, when the game first came out, like, people were ruining the game, telling people, who the killer was, and that's just how the internet works. People are going to spoil shit. I will say though, for Frank Stone and QUARRY, I haven't been spoiled for those games yet. Especially for QUARRY, I haven't been spoiled. I don't know who the killer is, who anything is, so I'm kind of happy about that for when I do eventually play it. But Until Dawn, I kind of already had that spoiled for me, so I already knew who the killer was and all of that stuff going into it, but I still enjoyed the story. It's like you kind of know, it's a horror game. Like, you kind of know, okay, well, the killer isn't going to win in most cases, but it's still fun to see the kills and the story and, the fear and the jump scares and whatnot. So I still enjoyed Until Dawn. I enjoyed the different characters. My playthrough, everybody survived, but the only thing is, I think Josh, the brothers. Well, actually, you know what? I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to say what ending I got. Actually, now that I think about it, because I might spoil somebody else. But let's just say that when I played Until Dawn, my playthrough, everybody survived. I'll say that nobody died in my playthrough. That's all I will say. And you can have multiple people die. You can have everybody to live. You can have half and half. You can have nobody survive. You can have one person die. Like, there's multiple different, ways that you can go in the story or whatever. So I'll say that much. I won't say anything else. I don't want to ruin anything. I don't want to spoil anybody who hasn't played any of these games. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, it's an old game. And yeah, well, you know what? I literally just only played it. So, I can't really sit here and say, oh, well, it's an old game. And how haven't you played it and all this other shit? Because guess what? Oh, yeah, I haven't played it yet. Not until this year. So I can't really, go on that limb going crazy about how people haven't played it yet. Moving on to our next game. I'm going to go with a game that I really just wasn't a fan of, and that's going to be Man of Medan, and I'm honestly going to go with not the best, bro. I'm honestly going to go with not the best. I'm not sure the running time for all of these games, but I will say, in my opinion, this is probably far and away the shortest game on the list. Easily the shortest game on the list. It's not even close, I don't think. I want to say like Man of Medan, you could probably sit down and beat this in like maybe 5 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, somewhere around there. Like if you sit there and explore every nook and cranny and you're just, trying to get every collectible and all of that stuff, then yeah, you could probably stretch it to like 7, 8 hours, maybe even longer. But if you're just like, hey, I just want to experience this story and I'm just, discovering everything and just making my way through the game or whatever, just even if you're just stumbling around and stuff, you're going to beat this game fairly quick. It's not a very long game. It's not a very long story. And in my opinion, it's not a very good story either. The ending, it's really, it's just, it just wasn't good. I'll leave it at that. Now, I'm not really sure if this is one of the first stories or one of the last stories where they were at. I'm assuming that this was like one of their earlier games, and that would make sense for why it's kind of on the weaker side, where like more into the Darker Pictures anthology, the games become, a little bit better. The characters are a little bit more solid. The stories are a little bit better. It would make sense, So that's where I have Man of Medan. I'm just not a fan of this game at all, like at all. Moving on, we have Little Hope, Dark Pictures, Little Hope. Now this one, I guess we could go in okay, even though I could really put this in not the best as well too. But I would say Little Hope, I'm putting this just literally slightly above MOM. Like I'm literally just putting it just slightly above it, just in the case that the story is actually a little bit better. The story is creepy as shit. Like, it, it's set in like this little town. Like just everything about it to me is just, it gives a slight edge to the game versus Man of Medan, because like just even the setting of like this old ship and stuff, like I guess that's kind of creepy because like you're in the middle of quote unquote nowhere in the ocean. You could say there's nowhere to go, but like you could just jump off the fucking boat and just, be in the water. Like, I mean, yeah, you got to deal with the elements and water and animals and stuff, but you like, if you really want to get the hell up out of there, you can get the hell up out of there. Whereas Little Hope, they were in like this haunted town or some shit, and like, they was trying to figure out a way out, and they're, being chased by like monsters and ghosts and, all this haunting shit. Like Little Hope, just everything about it to me is just a step up. The only real issue I have with Little Hope is the ending. The ending is absolute dog shit. Excuse my language, but the ending is absolute dog shit. It is dog shit, brother. I'm sorry to say it. I hated the ending for this game, and that is the only reason why I'm putting it in okay. Everything else, it checks off every box. Like the characters, the story, the setting, everything else is good when it comes to that. Like, the gameplay is going to be similar across the board for all of these games because it's the same type of game. But, Man of Medan is like the setting is like, characters, story, but Little Hope, the characters, I like the characters, I like the story, I like the setting, like just the ending was just a disappointment. So that's why I'm willing to put it in okay, because I liked everything else about it, but just that ending, it just drops it in quality in my opinion, like just tremendously. Like they were just right there and they just straight up dropped the ball, man, like honestly. Moving on though, right? And we're down to our last two games. And we have, I'm going to go with The Devil in Me. And The Devil in Me, I actually think I have a playthrough of that on my channel, on this channel actually. So if you want to see that, just go ahead, hit the channel, go on them videos, go ahead and look it up, you know what I'm saying? We definitely have a playthrough of Devil in Me on the channel. And I think it was like my first Supermassive games playthrough that I've done. I kind of want to do these other games as well too, but I don't know. I might, maybe. Definitely will do the QUARRY, for sure, since I haven't played that yet. Not sure if I want to do any of these other games, just because I already played these games, so if I do a playthrough, it's just not going to hit the same, you know. If I know what happens and I know how to save people and I know how to avoid people dying, and I know how to, I basically played the game already. This, for me, it just won't feel as cool of a playthrough to do that if I know how everything goes. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I kind of was just like, I don't know if I want to do these other games because I already played these games already. So it's just not gonna hit the same. Versus when I played through Devil in Me, I never played through this. I never played through, so it was a blind playthrough, and it was, fun to like play through this and, not know, what's gonna happen. And I'm pretty sure I had like one or two characters die during my playthrough of Devil in Me, if I'm not mistaken. I think I killed like two characters by accident. So yeah, that game I enjoyed. I'm gonna go very good. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go very good just because. And here's the thing, right? You could go Masterpiece with Devil in Me. If somebody told me that they were putting Devil in Me in Masterpiece, I wouldn't be mad at it at all. I like the characters. I like the setting. I like the story. I like everything about Devil in Me. The only issue, right? The only knock that I have on Devil in Me is that it's been done before. And I know that, like, okay, what idea is original? Everything's been done before. I understand. Trust me, I know. But it's kind of cliche, like the haunted house, like the killer who's, ghost or spirit, who's, like, we've seen every episode of Scooby-Doo damn near do this. The traps and everything was like very Saw-like, which I'm a fan of Saw, the earlier movies, so I kind of like the whole Saw, traps, type of ordeal or whatever. I digged it a lot. I thought that was fun compared to what they normally do, like in Little Hope and Man of Medan. I guess Until Dawn kind of had traps and stuff like that too. But compared to like how the killers or spirits, ghosts, whatever, hauntings, compared to how they usually operate, this was like very refreshing to me in Devil in Me. But at the same time, it's been done before in like horror. So that right there to me is the only real knock on Devil in Me. But you could go Masterpiece. I'm going very good, but you could go Masterpiece, and I wouldn't be mad at that at all. And then finally, we have House of Ashes. I'm trying to think in the order that I played these games. I played Until Dawn, then I played Man of Medan, then I played Little Hope, then I played QUARRY, then I played Devil in Me, then I played House of Ashes, I think, and then I played Casting of Frank Stone. I'm just trying to think of what order that I played these in. I think that's the order that I played these games in. So House of Ashes, at this point, I had already been, experienced with these games. I had played most of the games. This was definitely the last game for them that I played, I want to say. Well, recently I played Casting of Frank Stone like a couple weeks ago. But House of Ashes was probably the last game that I played from them. And to me, House of Ashes, again, kind of like Devil in Me, another one of their like really good games. The characters were fun. I enjoyed the characters a lot. The story was all right. I think the best thing about and here's the one thing that I do love about House of Ashes, that I'm trying to think if the other games did, and they didn't do it in Until Dawn. I'm trying to wait. Well, they technically kind of did, but they didn't in Until Dawn. Devil in Me, I guess technically speaking, they did as far as like the prologue. But what I'm getting to is, I was trying to say, I like how they did the dual timeline in House of Ashes, where you have like the olden time that you play through, and then you also had like the current daytime with like the soldiers and all of that stuff. Um, I'm trying to think if the other games did that. Like they did that for the prologue. Like Devil and Me, you had the couple, the new married couple. Um, Little Hope, you had like the family or whatever with the kids. Man of Medan, I don't remember how Man of Medan went because it's been so long since I played it. I don't even remember what the opening for Man of Medan is. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's been so long since I played that I have no clue how it opened. But I remember Little Hope is the family, and then the fire or whatever. Devil and Me is the brand new married couple staying in a hotel or whatever, the house. Until Dawn is like the kids playing a prank on the girls. The Quarry, I don't exactly remember how the Quarry started either. But House of Ashes, I like how it had the dual timeline thing, and then like you started and you're playing as like these old warrior dudes in the olden times, but you don't get their ending like how you normally would in the prologue. Like you at some point in the middle of the game, you get taken back to that time, and it kind of like jumps back and forth between the timelines or whatever, which again I thought was something dope that they added. That again, that's why I'm trying to think, like, did they have that type of mechanic in the other games? And I can honestly say they didn't. Like, they give you that old time or whatever for the prologue, and then they jump to current time, but there's really never no like time jumping back and forth like that in other games. So that was something new that they added that was kind of refreshing to House of Ashes. I liked it, the characters, the relationships. Um, yeah, I thought the game was fun. I enjoyed playing this, and I will say this: the one thing that I did like was that they still made you fearful, even though you're taking control of a bunch of military soldiers. Like the setting and everything like that, the monsters, like everything about it was still like you're still kind of worried, you're still on edge, and it's kind of hard to pull that off when you're dealing with like literal military soldiers, like trained killing machines that and you got heavy artillery, grenades, machine guns. Like usually in these scenarios, like the person is like underarmed, they don't have no weapons. If they do have weapons, they aren't trained to use the weapons. Their aim is like absolute dog shit. Like they don't have like the composure to hold themselves together. Like everything is stacked against them. In most of the cases for the protagonists of horror games and games like this, but you don't have any of that in this game. Like, they're well armed, they're well trained, like, they have, you know, artillery, weapons, all of that. They have a large number of them, as they're getting, killed off or whatever. There's a large number or group of them. Like, everything is in their favor, I should say, besides the fact that they're fighting these, like, fucking monsters or whatever, right? And even with all of those things on their side, you still have that uneasiness. You still have that fear. You're still, kind of worried or scared. I like that the game was able to still make you feel that, even though, you're walking around with like a military unit pretty much, I like that about that. So, again, I'm going to put House of Ashes in Masterpiece, but I'm not going to lie, you could put it in very good, you could go very good, you could go Masterpiece. I'm going Masterpiece, and I think for most people they're going to rank it as Masterpiece because House of Ashes is really regarded as one of the more better stories that they've made or better games that they've made. So I think, my listing isn't too far-fetched. I don't think my rankings are too crazy. Obviously, if you played these games, then you probably have like a little bit more variation. But again, I don't want to rank the games like if I rank them based on like the hour or two that I've played so far, I'm putting this in not the best just because of performance issues, and then I'm probably putting QUARRY in like very good or okay. But like I said, I haven't played these games, so I don't really want to rank them because I haven't experienced the stories, the characters, the relationship between the characters, how they interact, the setting and all of that stuff. There's just so many other things you know, that goes into the game that I don't think I would be able to give it a fair rate, a fair ranking if I did that. So this is what my ranking looks like for right now, you know, as of me playing these games so far. But I probably might update this once I play these two games, because I do want to play these two games, especially QUARRY. Frank Stone, if I can get, like, you know, maybe play it on PC or something. Maybe the performance isn't as bad. I think it's on PC. I'm not really sure. I hope it's on PC. If it's on PC, I might play it on PC, and maybe it'll have, like, you know, better you know, much better um performance things or whatever. But yeah, man, this is my ranking for the Supermassive horror games. Let me know what you guys think down below. What are your rankings? What are your favorite Supermassive horror games? You know, Dark Picture, Anthology, and whatnot. Let me know what your rankings are and what you guys thought of these games. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.